I know I'm incredibly late to this. However, I am going to do my picks for the Game Awards this year. So let's hop into it. And we're going to start with the obvious one, the Game of the Year. I'm a little surprised by some of the picks up here. For me, Resident Evil 4 being up here, I am very funny about remakes being up there. Even if it is a remake, it's not a remaster, something like that. They did a lot to rejig everything, right? So they did a lot to kind of redefine it. They added more stuff into it. It was essentially building it from the ground up. But for me, the bones were there. It wasn't something you came up with entirely brand new. Yes, you did a lot to improve it, but the bones existed. And I think that's kind of why I get a bit funny with remasters and things. It's kind of, Resident Evil 4 was already an award-winning and much beloved game, so it's weird for me to see it up here. I am a little sad Final Fantasy 16 isn't here, although I do know probably why. I think this was just a super stacked year. And as for most of these nominations, I haven't finished any of these. However, I haven't even played Baldur's Gate 3. Which I know is basically sacrilege at this point. However, when it comes to the Game of the Year one, we're starting with the biggest one, so we are sitting here for a second. When it comes to the Game of the Year, it has to be Baldur's Gate. It's not just about how good the game is, it's also about how it impacts the industry. And sort of the cultural impact Baldur's Gate 3 has had, phenomenal. Like, it has done so well. And it has been talked about for months. Elden Ring was like that as well, and it's why it deserved to win Game of the Year last year as well. I think it was last year. I have no concept of time. When Elden Ring won Game of the Year, it was the same thing. I think that game got talked about for months, and Baldur's Gate's been no different. It has to be that one. And you know you should be Game of the Year when you basically piss off every other developer in the industry, and they all come out to talk about why, actually it's not that good. Elden Ring, it was around the UI and game design, and Baldur's Gate, it was basically every other company shitting themselves going, oh, don't expect this from us, it's not possible. Games can't get made like this anymore. It's like, all right, whatever. So that is why I'm going to hit it with Baldur's Gate 3. Alan Wake is amazing. I'm having a great time with that. And Spider-Man is good. I am enjoying it, but I do think out of everything that's been nominated, it has to be this. Nothing's had as big of an impact as Baldur's Gate. 100%. And I haven't even played it. Keep that in mind. I haven't played it. But based on sheer impact alone, it's got to take that. Best Game Direction, awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. For me, it has got to be either Alan Wake 2 or Baldur's Gate 3. Again, I have not played Baldur's Gate 3, but I know a little bit about it. I obviously know it's a massive RPG in the proper sense of the word. Endless choices, endless capabilities, incredible just across the board. Alan Wake 2 being the main one I've interacted with, I feel like it's got to be one of those two, especially with Remedy's kind of ability to mix and match sort of live action and gameplay and that sort of thing. For me, I think I'm going to go with Alan Wake 2. Spider-Man, while it's great, it's kind of more Spider-Man. There's nothing wrong with that from a game standpoint, but yeah. Okay, best narrative, or hey, Final Fantasy's here. Okay. It's hard for me to say because I have not really finished any of these games, so I'm going to have to kind of go off outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game. Well, then it's got to be Baldur's Gate 3. Like Alan Wake 2, don't get me wrong, incredible narrative so far. It's definitely a bit of an acid trip, but it's a lot of fun. Final Fantasy 16, I really like the narrative in Final Fantasy 16. But if we're saying outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game, outstanding, I think with the sheer volume of different ways things can work, it's got to be Baldur's Gate 3. I should play this game. I think I should play it on the channel. I'm giving it so many awards, but for me, I just think, based on everything I've heard, that's what's needed. Best art direction, oh, that's easy. Out of these ones, Liza P. Liza P, 100%. I played one episode on the channel. Liza P, just, I loved it. And from everything from it having the sort of Souls-like elements involved with it, it was really just the way they built it. That game was gorgeous, and I was very impressed. All right, what we got next? Best score and music. Okay, this one, hands down, this is going to Final Fantasy 16 for me, without question. Look, I know I'm biased. Final Fantasy is arguably my favorite game series. However, the music in that game is absolutely phenomenal. So, I'm sorry to everyone else, but it is going to be Final Fantasy 16 for me. It's the one thing you can rely on when it comes to a Final Fantasy game, is the music is going to be good. All right, best audio design, Alan Wake 2. Like, not even hard for me on that one. I have been realizing so much that I am basically pissing myself in Alan Wake 2, and not a lot is happening. Right. Like, not a lot is happening. There's nothing going on. There's not a lot that's happening, but the sound design, how much it feels like there's stuff around me, the way the sound is like locating and things like that as well, in terms of the sound is locating. The positioning of the sound, if a twig is snapping on my right, I know it's snapping on my right, and vice versa. I can hear things behind me, hear voices, the way things echo and everything else. It's one of the things I think that really, really sets it apart, and makes it so terrifying. So I'm going for Alan Wake 2. I think it deserves that. Best performance. I'm close to giving it to Yuri, just because of the different range he kind of showed in Peter, especially with the symbiote kind of taking over. But again, my bias might be showing a little bit, but I can't get past Ben Starr in Final Fantasy 16 as Clive. He was insane. He was absolutely insane. His performance was crazy, especially in certain scenes. You just felt the pain, the way he'd scream, the way something would... I don't know, I could rave about that. It was a phenomenal voice performance. All right. What do we got? Innovation and accessibility. I don't know enough about what all of these games do. I'm actually a little sad Alan Wake 2 is not in here, because fun fact, I have hyperacusis. It means I'm fairly sensitive to really high frequency sounds and a few other bits and pieces as well. For the first time ever, a game actually had, and that was Alan Wake 2, had a hyperacusis kind of mode, which would help deaden certain frequencies that essentially that I'm a bit sensitive to. And I thought that was really cool. All right. Moving that out of the way, though, obviously with what we're dealing with here, I know Street Fighter 6, actually, from what I've heard, Street Fighter 6 does a lot to really help with that. Diablo 4 did some stuff. I know Spider-Man 2's had some stuff. I'm going to go with Spider-Man 2. Games for Impact, I know none of these games. And so I think with a lot of the categories where I know nothing, I'm just going to kind of skip past them. You know what? This one has some cute little animals in it. We'll go with that one. Moving on to the next one, we have got Best Ongoing, awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. Okay, evolves player experience. All right, I have got personal experience with Fortnite. I didn't like it. I never got into it. But especially Final Fantasy 14 and Cyberpunk 2077, I know they've done a lot of work with. I have been out of Final Fantasy 14 for ages. I say ages, but it's been about 18 months, and that's a long time in an MMO. I haven't played it for a while. I do keep up with the community, and I have heard it's kind of taken a little bit of a downward turn lately, or that some things just aren't going as well as they should be. I can't deny Fortnite obviously is an incredible ongoing experience, and there's a reason it works. Like, people are constantly playing it, and what was it? Fortnite OG, or the OG that they brought back. I think it had 45 million concurrent players at one point. That's insane. So, obviously I can't deny that. In both of these cases, I know Genshin Impact and Apex Legends are big deals as well, but in both of these cases, my thought is that these two are still making hand over fist money, whereas Cyberpunk 2077 is not. Right? Same with Genshin Impact, same with Apex Legends. All of these have been generating a ton of money, so of course you're going to keep evolving and doing things with your game. Cyberpunk 2077 reminds me a lot of No Man's Sky, which there was no real financial incentive to do a lot of the updates and upgrades and things that they were doing, and yet they did it anyway. And so I think I want to kind of reward that. I think that's a very cool thing. Not that I want to get into the habit of let's release a game completely broken, and then we'll just kind of fix it over the course of a few years, and hey, hooray, it's all good. But I have to respect that they kind of kept going with it, because it's way too easy for these companies to just not give a shit. All right. Best community support. No, you didn't. You didn't. Okay. Hold on. Hi. So, I don't know how many of you kept up with Bungie and what's been going on with them in terms of the mass amounts of layoffs that happened. Best community support. Okay, so best community support, Destiny 2, one of the most heavily laid off teams in Bungie. was the community team. Everyone loved the community team. I'm not a big Destiny person, but everyone loved what they did. But that team is essentially not there anymore. Anyway, moving on from that, but I can't believe that's still here. Outstanding community support, transparency, responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity, and game updates and patches. I'm going to give it to No Man's Sky. I have been playing that a little bit recently again, and I just forgot how good the game is, but also how much has changed and how many updates are still rolling out for that. I can't help it. I have to. I haven't looked at everything and what's been nominated, but I have heard tidbits, and one of them was that Dave the Diver was added as Best Independent Game when it's not really an independent game. I forget who is sort of the publisher or whoever kind of got behind the studio making it, but I can see like a lot of this... Like, there's a lot going on here. Like, a lot of these are not really independent. I know there's a bigger sort of conversation to be had around how we kind of define independent. Because a lot of these, you're looking at studios and some sort of publisher. Like what? Like Team 17? And things like that. However, I have heard good things about Dredge. Because I'll be honest, other than Dave the Diver, I have not heard much about these other ones. And Team 17, I remember playing Worms back when I was a child, so we're gonna go with that one. Completely uninformed about everything. This is making me realize how many games I just completely missed or did not get around to. Best debut, independent. Okay, we're gonna go with just Dredge again, because I don't know. This is again just telling me how many games I missed this year, which is insane. Best mobile game. I don't play mobile games. So I am going to go with Monster Hunter because I love Monster Hunter. Easy. What do we got next? Best VR/AR. I do not have a VR headset, so I am not going to be the best to call in on this. However, I'm going to give it to Resident Evil Village VR mode. I did have the PlayStation VR headset with the PlayStation 4. I played Resident Evil 7. Was it 7? Or is it 6? Nope, 7. 6 was the really shitty one. So this was technically 8. So yeah, Resident Evil 7, I did have it for that, and it was an insane experience, and apparently this was more of the same. So I'm going to say Resident Evil gets that one. All right, best action game. Oh, I was going to be so upset if Armored Core wasn't in here somewhere. Okay, it's Armored Core. Best in the action genre, focused primarily on combat. It's Armored Core. Dead Island 2. What the fuck? Ghost Runner 2 I've heard good things about. Remnant 2 I've heard good things about, but you already know. It's going to be Armored Core 6. Without question. I adore that game. Okay, what else have we got? Best Action Adventure. Why is Alan Wake 2 in here as Best Action Adventure? I don't understand that. Okay, I guess they by the way they're defining it, it's puzzle solving. There's definitely puzzles and things to kind of solve in Alan Wake. Sorta. Not really. I don't know, whatever. Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Marvel Spider-Man 2. I'm curious, based on action adventure combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving. I mean, I guess it does actually have puzzles. I don't know, some of these choices are weirding me out. I did not get around to playing it. However, if we're going with adventure, Tears of the Kingdom. In terms of adventure, that's amazing. All right, best RPG. Why is Final Fantasy 16 in here? I know technically the Final Fantasy series is an RPG, but I would be classifying... Actually, now that I think about it, I would be classifying Final Fantasy 16 more as an action adventure. Right, because it's not really... I love the game, don't get me wrong, and that's... again, you can probably... Hang on. Yeah, I got a lot of Final Fantasy stuff. I love Final Fantasy. I know it's technically an RPG, but... It's really not. Like what? I tweak a couple of little things around some of the abilities that I use, and that's about it, really. And I change out 3 pieces of armor, including a weapon. So one weapon, 2 pieces of armor. I love Final Fantasy, but I mean, if it's going up as in the RPG category, it's a weak RPG. Like it's a really weak RPG. Action adventure, absolutely. I think it could clean up in there, but as an RPG. Oof, it's a bit weak, especially when you got Baldur's Gate 3, which, again, I haven't played. It's just I know how in-depth all the systems are in that, and as much as I love Final Fantasy, it can't stack up against that. Okay, best fighting. Tekken is not out yet, so I'm not interested in any of these. No. I'm not going to be that mean. Street Fighter 6, I've just heard a lot of good things about that one. I am very excited for Tekken 8, though. Tekken has been my fighting game since... before I can remember. I've had it since PlayStation. Like, PlayStation 1 days. Okay. I don't really know about Best Family Friendly. However, I have seen people play Party Animals and have a phenomenal time doing it. It looks hilarious. Super Mario Bros. Wonder, that's always good. I don't know, you know what? I'm giving it to Party Animals. I've actually enjoyed watching people play that. It's hilarious. I haven't played any of these, but I like the Fire Emblem series, so we're going with Fire Emblem. I am not a massive sports anything player, but from what I understand, the Hot Wheels racing games are really, really good. They're actually a lot of fun. I'm gonna have to give it to Baldur's Gate 3. People are doing full campaigns with friends and all across everything. Like, this is what I mean. This is what... Okay, hang on. What is this? Best Adaptation? The only one of these I actually watched was the Super Mario Bros. Movie. I haven't watched this Castlevania, although I intend to. Okay, hang on, wait, stop. I'm getting distracted. This is what I mean. This game, Baldur's Gate, when I say like Game of the Year needs to clearly stand above and beyond in so many different categories, for me it's like regardless of whatever your category was, RPG or whatever, you rose above and you outdid every other game that came out this year. That's what I mean with Baldur's Gate. Like, it's got an incredible multiplayer experience from everything I've heard. It has just got incredible, pretty much everything. And that is what I mean when I say it has a massive cultural impact. And just a massive sort of impact around the entire gaming industry. And again, I just love it when everyone gets very defensive over the fact that, well, we can't do games like this because, well, then the shareholders won't make as much money. I'm not cynical at all. All right, so I have only seen this. Wait, that was a Gran Turismo movie? All right, hold on. Yes. Yes, there was. Apparently, it was rated okay. Wow. All right, I'm just going with the Mario movie. I had a good time with that. That was all right. Some things are a little but like it was a good time. Way better than I expected it to be. Most anticipated game. Hey, there's Tekken 8. Oh. Much as I love Tekken, for me, it's Final Fantasy VII Rebirth 100%. I am very curious where they're taking sort of the Final Fantasy VII side of things. Content Creator of the Year. Only person I know is Iron Mouse, so you can have that. So Iron Mouse can have that. Are we getting into the people now? Because if we're getting into the people, I don't know. Yeah, best esports game. I know one of you mentioned Ask Me About Valorant, which means you probably play it. So I'm going to vote for Valorant on your behalf. And are we going to start getting into esports people now? Yeah, we are. All right, I don't know any of these people, so excuse me while I just name them based on the name I like the most. Hydra. Let's go there. Let's go with Evil Geniuses. There you go. I know nothing, all right? I'm either cutting this or just don't judge me. I don't know anything. Gunba Zonic. Yeah, Zonic with a Z. Let's go. Yeah, we're going to go with Evo. Ah, you've reached the edge. That's it. We did it. Hooray. And that's the end of the video. I really just wanted to run through and talk about some of my thoughts around some of the games, but I mainly wanted to hear a little bit more from all of you in terms of the games you may have picked or what you've put forward. Because yeah, sometimes these are a good way to do it. If you like any of the ones and you want me to play them, let me know. I probably want to play Baldur's Gate. Would you be interested in that? Because I have heard enough good things about it that I want to experience it now. So that is going to be all for this video. Nice and short, hopefully, if I can stop myself from rambling too much. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you're voting for. What's your game of the year? Mine, personally, if I had to pick, if I was completely biased, it would be Final Fantasy 16, purely closely followed by Armored Core 6. Final Fantasy 16 just because of what it did in the way it changed the Final Fantasy 16 formula. I know it's not for everyone, though. That's just my heavy bias coming through. Anyway, let me know below what's your game of the year. Do you agree with the nominations? Are you disappointed by anything or things that were missed? Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new so you can stay up to date with everything happening on the channel. But that's all for today. So, bye for now.